Hello. Hi. How are you? How are we? It's Wednesday evening, the first day of spring, and so excited to hear and feel the sun and all that sort of stuff and be a part of that. It's crazy. It takes a little bit of sun to get us going. But first day of spring is always a good day to sort of connect in and feel that and be a part of that. And it's it's, even though it was quite a challenging day for the news, another 3 weeks of what these lockdowns look like, even though there's some easings of those restrictions and whatever's happening. To look at that sort of gives you a little bit of false sense of hope and security and everything that goes around it, and it's just crazy to think that that's the world that we're living in. So but here we are, we're going to do this, we're going to make sure it's all happening, and as organisations like ourselves at Love Me Love You, we're really sort of trying to be and this is the world that we live in, and I say this in the nicest possible way, we're trying to be as positive for the situation as we possibly can. And that is me included. I talk about this a lot, and we talk about, a lot of conversations that we have with everybody, and they keep saying, be so positive, and let's stay on top of this, and it is, and I appreciate what that is. I appreciate the feeling of being positive, and because that's what we're supposed to do. That's what we do. That's what's life, and that's also. But it's when we start taking that over and not acknowledging the fact that shit's hit the fan for a lot of people. We're in a dire situation, and people say, we're not in Afghanistan. I've said this before. We're not in Afghanistan. We're not over here. We're not over there. We're not back in the World War II days. We're all that sort of stuff. Yeah, and appreciate that. Understand that. I appreciate that. And acknowledge that, and I'm fully aware of all those situations. What's happening. But we're still going to be fully aware of the fact of what we're going through right here, because this is the life that we're living, and this is what we need to embrace, this is what we need to own, this is what we need to, and all the bitterness and anger and blaming and all the things that are going with it at the moment is just causing more fear, I believe. And it's just crazy. The commentary that I'm seeing, and you're all probably seeing the same thing through social media, through the different platforms, through people's different agendas and how they're going about it, understanding that the media reports, and I'm going to go on to a few of them in a second, about the media reports and things that are happening, and obviously there's what we know as the impact that it's having on people in our community in terms of the mental health challenges and the mental health diagnosis levels that are coming through that. But also on top of that, obviously, the rate of suicide attempts and suicides that are happening. We don't know for sure that, because the data that's being reported, and I appreciate it, and I know it, and I'm in this business every day, 24/7. The reports are up, 100%, and that's what it is. There's the increasing large numbers of these people, and especially youth that are presenting with suicide ideology, suicide attempts or suicides, and also then the increase of mental health diagnosis levels. There is large numbers at the moment, but there's no reporting on those sort of significance there. Potentially could be somewhere, but I haven't found about comparisons to previous times. There has, and I get it, but and everyone's starting to blame the government and all this sort of stuff, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate that part of the commentary. But there becomes a point where then the things that we're trying to put in place, they're so reactive that it actually it'll take so much longer. And it's not just about opening playgrounds and getting your kids back to school and that sort of stuff. There's a whole rounded approach that needs to understand how we look at this and how we're going to get through this. As a youth, member of the youth demographic, or a person in their adults, or their elder adults. So we need to understand how we do this as a community, and the plan around that as a community, not just blaming somebody for what's going on, because it's not helping. It's not working. It's not moving us forward. But and you can disagree or disrupt or don't care what I think and how I go about it, and it doesn't phase to me. Like, I'm not fast. Like, I'm just speaking to what I believe and how I feel. And I know the approach that we need to be able to take is understanding how we check in with each other, how we have these conversations, give ourselves the space, lower the pressures and expectations of the people in our life and around us to where we need to get to. And then allow us to actually say, okay, what are the things that I do have control of? What can I do? How am I going to go about it? And how do I make it happen? Don't be sort of putting yourself into a position of saying, I just can't do, because we can. And there's opportunities to do it. And it might not be the way that you want to do it, but there's opportunities to do things, and there's opportunities to move forward. It's a real sort of tricky situation. There's been some restrictions or limit, sort of bending of those restrictions that have come out today for the next 3 weeks, and that's fine. It's 3 weeks. I know the experiences that have been going through we've been going through this for the last 18 months, so on and off, and for a long period of time. There's a lot of fear that is being created in the situation, and I say it again and again. There's a lot of people with agendas to say that they're trying to take on the approach that they are the answer and they are this and that. It's not how it works. We can't do this. Don't add fuel to the fire. The commentary just adds fuel to the fire. Let's take positive action moving forward, not being so negatively reactive to what this is what we're all experiencing. I run through some stats that I've sort of working through here, and it's about there has been, compared to the stage last year, over that sort of a 6-month period, presenting to this time last year, that there's been about a 6.5% increase in mental health care plans that have been handed out. So it's like something like 1.1 million, over 1.1 million mental health care plans have been handed out to people of all demographics from October to June, or from last October, so October 2020 to June 2021. Which is it's quite a large increase. We're talking about 6.5% in terms of working through that, but still within the parameters. The fact that what people are experiencing now, going on with the commentary is about, you would have thought that that would number have been much higher, given to what's happening. And I appreciate that, but there's still an increase, which means there's still a range of battles and challenges and everything going on. But on top of that, we talk about psychology services. We get a mental health care plan to go into a psychology service, professional health service, as a psychologist, and there's a 1 to 3 month waiting list. They've closed books. Majority of the psychologists out there have closed their books. One psychologist I spoke to a couple of weeks ago, she had 82 people on her waiting list. How does that work? How do we get to that point where, that 82nd person, I know that might be a low risk situation, I understand how that looks, but that 82nd person can't wait 3 months, can't wait 6 months. Over in Perth, there's a report in WA, there's reports that there's a waiting list between 6 to 12 months at the moment, and that's what they're dealing with. That's the journey that they're on over there. Limited resource. We are highly resourced in the area of psychology services in Metro Victoria, and also in obviously Metro New South Wales. There's a high need and high resourced area there. It does thin out as it goes towards regional areas, which creates more of an issue in terms of accessibility and availability of health services to the people that need it, because as you said, you need this issue, you need help, you need it right now. All right, so and I'll talk a bit about what we're doing as a foundation to make sure we're all over this. Okay, Lifeline, between 3,000 to 3,500 phone calls a day. So these people in high risk and acute sort of mental health diagnosis challenge and suicide ideology, and are really battling with what this life is throwing at us. But that's a 40% increase to pre-COVID times. Okay, so on average it was about 1,500 to 2,000. They were saying about 2,000 sort of phone call a day rate within reason, and then the fact that we're sort of hitting record numbers, a Lifeline reporting record numbers going through there, and there's still people slipping through the gaps, which is even more concern. But there's a range of other numbers and other support services that are available to make sure you're having those initial conversations. Correct. If you've got any comments that are going along as well, if you don't, as I said, you don't believe me or you don't like what I'm saying, or you've got something to add, let us know. Okay. But this is also the commentary. There's a lot of talk about, why don't you just get more psychs? They don't grow out of the ground. They don't just pop in a pot plant and all of a sudden you've got another psychologist that's able to service to the degree that people are needing. There is provisional psychs who are people at the end of their degrees but not quite qualified and trained to the point where they need to be. But there's talk about releasing these provisional psychs into a level of service to be something that's better than nothing. But on top of that, there's counselling services that are available through low to medium risk order situations. I would have thought maybe not so much the high risk area, but at Love Me Love You, we're working our butts off to develop a program that is enabling you as people through our community that you can access the mental health service, a support service of sorts. To make sure that you're not slipping through the gap, because we know that there's a huge demand and need at the moment, like there always is, and you can never have enough members of your army to fight in this battle. But at the same time, we at Love Me Love You, as I said, through our support pathway program, what it is a gateway service that enables you to then get triaged, processed. Let's work through this. Let's build that relationship, and then how do we fill that gap? How do we bridge that gap between you calling out and realising that you need help, which is probably, when I say that you need help, this is probably 3 months too late that you need help and you've reached out, because that from speaking experience, the time that we do need help is not the time that it starts. It's not time to challenge our mental health diagnosis levels are changed. We're sort of really battling it, and it is usually at rock bottom where we actually ask for the help that we need. That's the world that we live in. So let's make sure that as a community, we're actually checking in this process and going to the point to say, okay, what am I doing before shit's hit the fan? What am I doing for my people? What am I doing for my crew? Who am I talking to? How am I communicating? How am I making sure that these conversations are being heard? How am I making sure that my connection to my people and my crew is the best it possibly can be given the circumstances? How is it that I can do this? Not, I can't do it. This whole I can't just doesn't work. It doesn't help you, doesn't help anybody. And call me harsh, call me whatever you want, but we need to make that work. And we're working through a whole range of things that Love Me Love You, from our corporate and our community partners right through to conversations that we're having at government level about making sure that these levels of counselling services we can help and fund and provide to make sure that people aren't slipping through that gap, because that's what's happening. But we also have a role to play under our own house, in our own house, under our own roof, which goes through the fact. Sorry, I'm clicking my pen. Could do that when I get it a bit on. Talk about people under our own roof, the reflective and mirrored behaviours that we're sort of portraying onto the other people, and the impact that that's having on the people in our house, whether that be through your kids or your partner or your housemate or whoever it might be. And we need to look at and be able to have accountable conversations to say, this is what we're going through, this is the shit I'm dealing with, what can we do to make it possibly better given the circumstances that we're in. And I talk about this in terms of position around something that's really getting me through at the moment and understandings is around toxic positivity. Okay, if those that don't know what toxic positivity is, I'll give you an example. All right. Toxic positivity is the obsession with positive thinking. This is the thing that we're all supposed to be on at the moment. Right? There's a belief that people should put a positive spin on all experiences, even those that are profoundly tragic, which is the tragic situation and the dire situation that we're in. And this is where we're at. Toxic positivity can silence negative emotions, demean grief, and make people feel under pressure to pretend to be happy even when they are struggling. Okay? That's toxic positivity. All right. And then I'll give you some just examples around toxic positivity comments or sayings, from what we should avoid and what's hazardous to the situation, and possibly actually how do we make it happen. All right. And we talk about toxic positivity, the hazardous. Let's not go there. Let's possibly make sure that's actually adding fuel to the fire as a human, as an individual, and as a collective, versus the validation and the acceptance. Okay, the acceptance of the situation was acknowledge what's going on and let's action something moving forward. That's the thought process, and I'll bring it back to something that I talked about, and I talked about it last night on a friend of mine's Instagram live session as well. So the toxic positivity. So I'll go that first. Try not to think about it. Stay positive. Yeah, let's flip it on to the other one. Validation and acceptance is want to talk about it. I'm here with a listening ear. Let's move forward. Okay? That's what it is. Don't worry, be happy. I see how, let's go the other way, I see how that can be overwhelming. Anything I can do. Okay? Never say, I know how you feel, because you don't. You're not me. I'm not you. I don't know how you feel. I understand the fact that the situation could be overwhelming and that you might be going through this, and I understand how you can feel something like this, but I don't know how you feel. Positive vibes only here. No way. It's more like around, I'm here for you. Create that place of acceptance, create that place of acknowledgement, create that safe place that I'm here. Don't sort of mock someone's or trivialise someone's feelings by just telling them to be positive, because positivity, it's a masking agent, right? In terms of if I'm dealing with something, I need to acknowledge it. Not if I don't acknowledge what the situation is or the experience is, and then I'm just told to be positive, I haven't dealt with my experience. And then they keep sweeping that under the rug, I'm going to trip over. Okay. Think happy thoughts. Yeah, I get that, and this becomes a practice. This is not just I'm dealing with crap and let's go forward. Let's just start thinking happy thoughts and everything will be great again. But it's about acknowledging it again, and I say this. What we like to say, it's natural to feel that way, and it is. It's natural to feel doubt, it's natural to feel sadness, it's natural to feel depressive moments and episodes, and it's natural to feel anxiety and stress. It's natural to feel these emotions that we believe that we shouldn't, but it's natural to feel that way, and that's okay. We acknowledge it, acknowledge what I do with it, acknowledge my emotional response, my physical experience with it, and then I can actually go, okay, what am I going to do with it? It could be worse. And this is what I talked about before. It could be worse. Someone took me once. It could be worse. You could be in Afghanistan at the moment. Well, I'm not. And I'm not cold-hearted in the way the fact I looked at that. I said, but I'm not. As I said before, I'm looking at my experience here and what I'm doing here. As much as I possibly can do for the people in my inner sanctum and the people around in my community to make sure that we're all getting through what is happening in this world. In our world. Not this world, our world. Okay, and it's not about it could be worse. Life could be worse, 100%. And I look at this every single day. My life could be what it was, right? My life could have been full of deep, dark days and nights, and feeling like absolute crap, feeling so disconnected from this world, feeling like the only way out was at through my my abusive, self-destructive behaviours. It could be worse. Could be what that was. But at the same time, I'm here, and you're here. Let's make something happen about it. Let's do something with that. That really sucks. Sorry you're going through this. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're going through this, and it's okay to be to use that language and be sorry for the situation. But and call that, right? It sucks. That really sucks. I spoke to a lady today, a good friend of mine, yesterday, and we talk about people's businesses and we talk about people's life experiences at the moment, and with coming from expectations of succeeding in any which domain that you want to talk about, succeeding in any which domain, and the expectations and the results aren't coming the way that we're used to, and people are hitting absolute rock bottom through more around a process of financial hardship because businesses are going down the gurgler, relationships are breaking up, hardships happening, and this is the world that people are having to live through, and it sucks. It does. It really sucks. If I had $1 million and that was to give to everybody, and that would be great, and that would solve all their problems, and let's but I don't have that money. But what I do have is a way of let's connect conversation, reality, move forward, and understand who that is and how I go about that. This is a big one that a lot of people, and I hate. I did it. You can too. Yeah, that's nice. Good on you. That's good for you. Okay. But how did you do it? And they say, I got out of this. How did you get out of it? What are the opportunities? Don't just pull it back to the point of I did it, you can too. You paid me on the back or pissing down my leg while you're sort of giving me a cuddle. That's not how it works. What are we doing here? How do you support? How can I support somebody that's going through that challenge? And it says here, everyone's journey is different. There's no comparison to this. There's no comparison to living through this experience from ever before, from generations before, because, if you want to talk about all the things in the pandemics and all the things that have happened in previous lifetimes, there's nothing that compares to what we are living right now, because it's the experience that we have here. We're a bit more advanced in resource and knowledge and education and communication and technology than we have ever been before. But we're dealing with an absolute monster of a thing that is causing absolute havoc in our community. And working through that idea of experience, working through that is crazy for a lot of people. And this conversation we talk about, and it's turning people against each other, because we talk about vaccinations and no vaccinations. But then we talk about we start pushing blame, and then we need to get to 70% to release all these things. We need to get to 80% to be free, what we believe is free, and all this sort of stuff. But then there's the anti-vaxxers that I understand your experience and your thought process to be in that. I understand that. But I know that there's a lot of my, what I would call anti-vaccine friends, or people that don't want to do the thing, that have put a lot more worse in their system than a vaccination. Okay? Where they don't know what was in there, don't know the results of the effect that it has on their body and their thing. But, I respect everyone's decision to do what they need. Okay, what they believe in, if you genuinely believe in it, not just being against it because you have a political idea of using big words and pulling your agenda to say, look at me, this is how I go about it. That's not what we're about. Is the fact that, if I could possibly do something that will give me a possible percentage increase in chance to work through the idea that I can get into a better position of freedom and levels of non-restriction, and be able to go and see my parents, to be able to have my kids go back to school, to be able to go to my sister's house and give her a hug, to be able to go to my best mate's house, my best friend's house, to be able to go back into work and do presentations and connect with people and give people hugs and do all this sort of stuff. If this puts me in a better position to do that, a percentage will increase, then I'm going to do it. And I have. And I'm putting my hand up. My wife and I, Emma, we've had our 2 doses, and that is our decision and how we work that. And hopefully that we as a community, a whole community, we can sort of pull that together and see what it looks like moving forward. that's just where I'm at, right? Like, and this is a big thing that frustrates me, because I now have to tell that and we talk about it and talk about the issue, the big third world problems first world problems that we're all dealing with. I now have to go tell my oldest son that he can't have his birthday, which is the biggest deal in the world. That's my problem. And I get that that's not the worst thing that's happening in this world. But he's turning 6. This is his first year at school. He spent a quarter of his life in lockdown. My 3.5-year-old has spent half of his lifetime in lockdown. My Alexander, who's about to turn 6 in 2.5 weeks, nearly 3, about 2.5 weeks, will not be able to celebrate his birthday with anybody but us, which is amazing because we're us and it's awesome. But can't enjoy his party, can't enjoy his birthday. This kid has come from such a long experience of challenging socially and being told throughout his pre-kinder years and 3-year-old kinder years and all these things that he is a challenge. The things that were going on, and my wife has worked incredibly hard with our Alexander, to get him to a position of where he is at the moment, and he just turned this year into the most amazing little champion you've ever met in your life. He's just so beautiful and caring and funny and intelligent and just wants to be part of everything and so sociable, which and then we have to tell him that he can't have his birthday party. As I said, first world problems, but it really gets me at the moment. I'm really battling with this whole process of trying to stay on top of trying to stay on top of things. As someone asked me today, and I appreciate over this last sort of month to 6 weeks, there's been a lot more people checking in with me than previously before, and people that I hadn't spoken to for a while, and I thank you for that. And sometimes and I do have my regular crew that check in with me. Maybe I'm having a lot more extended crew do that, but I someone asked me what life's like at the moment. Someone asked me yesterday what life's like at the moment, and I said it's like spinning 10 plates in the air and trying to eat at the same time. And that's what it is, and people are feeling that at home, and you can all understand what that feels like at home, whether it be you be working or you're having to understand homeschooling and building relationships and stopping fights and all that sort of stuff, stopping your sort of ways of doing things, trying to concentrate and grow business and relationships and all this. As I said, first world problems, but that's just what it is. So hopefully we can all get through this. Hopefully you're working your way through, and I said this last time in the thing, it's about giving that space. Connection and communication is what life's about for me. And the more we can do that, the more we can communicate effectively, not just talk crap. Yeah. Don't just make your commentary crap. Actually talk with effective communication and how that could possibly look for you and the people in your life that you're doing that with. And then let's move forward. Life's a battle, and it is what it is. But it's just checking in tonight. It's for those that need support, please reach out to us through our support pathway program. As I said, you can do it via socials, or contact me directly, or through our website there. We are delivering a lot of programs now online. More people are more accepting again of that. Gone through the Zoom what we call Zoom fatigue, about being able to access our training programs, our peer-to-peer support training, our Welfare Warrior training program that we do, and doing more of. Let's keep that going on. We'll probably be running in the next couple of weeks. We'll push out a date for a community public usage program, which is my give back and our give back to the community. There'll be a caveat that goes with that. You will have to donate to my Ride With Me fundraising page if you would like to be a part of that. So check it out at there, and I'll give you I'll put it in the comments. But the Ride With Me 2021 under Lance. If you donate to me, I will put you a spot in our Welfare Warrior training program that we will deliver, I believe, not next week, the start of the week after. So get onto that and see how you work. Maybe it's exciting, you can be a part of it. As I said, it can be something little and it can be something big. It's up to you. But Ride With Me registrations are still open. We at this current stage, let me just check that. We at this current stage have 249 registered and close to $40,000. We have some exciting news that we will announce over this next week about some people that are participating in our Ride With Me event, which is happening in 2 months. Remember, you don't have to be a cyclist to do our Ride With Me event. You just have to be able to do something that pedals. And that could be on a trike, that could be on a bike, that could be even in a spin class if you're able to get to that to a stage. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to do that by Melbourne Cup weekend. But this is the thing, we're looking at a whole range of different opportunities to do it. There can be events that are happening all over the country that people can partake in and join in over that weekend. And there'll be some virtual sessions that we'll do. And then we'll also do a whole range of, obviously social media live stuff as well. But, we're very thankful for all the support that we have received over this long period of time. With our ride, we're looking forward to pumping that up to close to the numbers that we got last year, which was 600 riders and close to $300,000 we raised last year. That put us in a great position to continually develop our programming, but also to provide the free counselling check-in triage service. The counselling check-in service is it is a free service that we provide, and being able to support hundreds of people every year at this stage, we're looking at developing that program up to a point that we are able to develop and case manage through that counselling process. Close to 2,500 to 3,000 people every year. You might not think those big numbers, but there's 2,500 to 3,000 people that weren't being able to be supported before. But that'll all come out. Also, some big news through our board, our chairman. We're very lucky and very grateful for this. You'll get more information will come out on it, but our chairman has changed, and you just have to wait to see what that looks like, because we'll announce that and give it that respect that it deserves, from the outgoing chairman to the incoming chairman, and the wonderful service and friendship and care and support that both these people have given to and are giving still to the foundation. So, plus other plans. So anyway, just thought I'd check in. I know it's been half an hour, so you get bored of me. As I said, it's a platform that I appreciate and the connections that we all have. But if you need help, we're here. If you want to call, you want to chat, you want to check in, you want to message, you want to do whatever you want to do, you just let us know. Yeah, because we're here. But make sure you check in with your crew, check in with the people in your house, and make sure you look in the mirror tomorrow and check in with yourself. Allow it to be, because and if anyone wants to get up at 4:30 in the morning and ride their bike and they want to check in with me at that stage, I'll be up and at them. So let me know what's going on. But remember that you're never alone, okay? And we're here to help. So let's make it happen. And appreciate your time. And good luck and lots of love to everybody. Appreciate it. Bye.